lounge in Bob's room.
Hey guys, welcome back to Bob's Room. Joe and Aubrey here. Today we're going to be discussing Talamona pipes. Talamona pipes is a great line from Italy, and they got started in 1929 with Cornelio Talamona. Cornelio started making pipes for his buddies as a hobby, and then it just branched out from there. He got into a couple of shops in northern Italy, and then his son Cesare joined the shop at 15.
Yeah, Cesare at 15 really did a lot of work, and not only that, but as he got older, one of the main boons of having him as part of the pipe carving family was that he moved selling those pipes to England and Germany.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the company really blossomed under Cesare. And they moved out of Italy, and Cesare carried on the business until 2000.
Not only that, but his father died in 1945. Mm-hmm. After his father dies, Joe says he continues doing it, and he does a great job extending his pipes out from pretty much everywhere. But unfortunately, in 2000, he falls on a little bit of hard times. Those things happen.
It does. Well, his wife passed away.
Yeah.
And so, after 70 plus years in an industry and your wife dying, it might be time.
Yeah, maybe it's a rough time. Maybe you start asking for some help. Yeah. And help came in the form of Paolo Croce. He was pretty much handed over all control, I think.
Around 2007, he takes over and he puts his own mark on the company.
Yeah, you start seeing more Talamonas come into the American market around 2010, and I think that was very good for the company because, truth be told, the American market is the largest market for pipes. I mean, as Americans, we like to spend money.
We like smoking.
Yes, very much so. I mean, our nation is kind of founded on it.
Yeah,
That being said, I think Croce did a very good job of maintaining the legacy of the Talamona family. Paolo makes phenomenal pipes.
He does, and as Aubrey's saying, he really takes a commitment to keeping those classic Italian lines and shapes with just that little bit of flair he's got to them.
Yeah, these aren't going to have the same sort of wild flares that you would see in a Mastro Baraldi by any means. But
or a Sir Jacopo.
Yes. But he does have 4 lines that I can see that we have here. And we're just going to take a minute to talk about all those lines and the differences in them and, just kind of really get into these pipes. We love doing these reviews because it gives us a chance to reawaken whatever love that we have for that particular carver to make us feel more comfortable talking about it. Let's start with the first one. Let's do the Classico.
Classico. Now, Classico is Paolo's more budget-friendly model.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a budget pipe.
I would not call it a budget pipe, but it does have a little bit more budget-friendly price tag than some of the others. For the Classico series, it's very much about maintaining those Italian shapes, and we got a little Italian billiard here, so he adds a bevel to the top of the bowl, but it's classic little half bend to the bowl there with a saddle stem. I like saddle stems. It helps break up those lines and really showcase the stem work, but he also puts a little wooden band around the bottom of the stem, so you get a little touch of style there.
One of the things that I like about the Classic series is I tend to use those for newer pipe smokers that want to get a better than basket pipe. Because truth be told, your basket pipe, about $40, right? And a basket pipe's a basket pipe. It'll smoke, but it's not going to be the best thing that you can get. With this, you get that next step into better drilling, a little bit better briar, and this guy's been doing it forever. You're going to get just your classic drilled pipe. The Classic that I have here just your billiard with a saddle bit, quarter bend. And one of the things that I like, first of all, it doesn't matter what line his pipe is, it's got killer grain.
That's the truth.
That this is straight all the way around. There's no blemishes. Sure, there's not a lot of bird's eye, and it's not very tight grain, but it's straight grain. Like if you saw this, you go, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other advantage to a first-time pipe buyer getting them, right?
Right.
Not only are they getting an improvement in function over the basket, they're also getting an improvement in aesthetics as well.
Right, and not only that, truth be told, there is a slight function benefit to straight grain in that it retains heat better. It's negligible, but it does help. I mean, a little bit. And one of the things that I like about this particular one, quarter bend, straight grain, but also he took the time to have, a, you can't see it from this shot, you'll see it up here, or there, wherever I put it, a nice kind of like blood red translucent stem. And that looks really good with this kind of natural stain.
Yeah.
The classic series, they're all drilled very well. Is yours bare bowl?
That's what I was about to point out.
Yeah,
bare bowls.
I know some of them don't have bare bowls, but almost all of them do. And, so some people like pre-carbonized bowls. They feel like, it's already broken in. And truth be told, it protects the pipe from an inexperienced smoker. It does.
It does.
But as a pipe connoisseur, I like tasting the briar on my first couple smokes.
There is something nice to tasting the briar the first couple of smokes. It's part of that getting to know the pipe process for me.
Oh, but it's like a little forbidden fruit, and you can only get it like when you first start smoking the pipe.
Right.
It's just one of those things that I think, as a pipe smoker, like a true blue pipe smoker, you need to have that, and you need to enjoy it. It's a fleeting love.
Agreed.
Another bit of information, these use Delrin tendons. I'm sure we've gone over Delrin tendons in some video before, but I'll give a quick overview. Delrin tendons are good because you can make your stem, put a mortise in the stem, put a mortise in here, and you can make a Delrin that's the perfect fit every time. Not only that, but Delrin tendons have a little bit more flex than using it straight out of the vulcanite or the acrylic, which gives it a little bit more strength.
Yeah, the little bit of flexibility allows you a minor drop.
Yes. The next line, we'll start with Joe's over here, is the Rustica series.
Rustica series. So, this one here, I would call it a brandy.
No, I love pipe shapes.
I'm making, it's pipe shapes. I make a lot of this stuff up as I go because it's in the ballpark of the classic shapes.
There's a lot of very specific things that incorporate into certain shapes, but because not everybody adheres to these very specific things, you kind of have to go with like, well, this is kind of like it.
The other thing I like about this particular Rustico is that he uses a couple of different rustication methods. He's got a wire rustication for half of it, and he's got the standard spotty rustication to it. So it gives the pipe a neat contrast there. The other interesting thing about this pipe is military mount.
Woo!
Yeah, big fan of military mounts. Not only are they more durable, you can take them apart while they're hot. The stem tapers down, the mortise tapers down, and so there's no real disconnect there, even if it expands or does something wonky. I'm a big fan of how comfortable this bowl is. There's a little bit of a flare out here as you would find in a traditional brandy, and so it fits nice and comfortably in the hand. I like the yellow stem as well. It provides a nice contrast.
How do you feel about wire rustication? We've never talked about this, so I'm just curious.
I like wire rustication. It gives the appearance that they took a little bit more time with it, put a little bit more thought in it, and it gives a straight grain flair to it that I like.
I get it. One of the reasons that we started with Joe on this Rustico series is simply because the Rustico series that I have is wild. So for you guys who like nose warmers, but also want to smoke a lot and don't care about your tongue, do I have the nose warmer for you?
It's going to be a warm smoker. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, this thing, the bowl eats half my finger, and I've got, decently long fingers. But also, this Rustica series is very interesting simply because it's like an alligator skin.
It's alligator skin. There is no doubt.
Yeah, that's the only way I can say it. And one thing I'm noticing, I've never truly looked at this pipe real hard, is you can still see the grain through the rustication on this. So you're kind of getting best of both worlds. This is a very unique pipe, and with this being the next line up, he chooses some more interesting shape styles. And that one's a little bit more unique than his classic series. I've never seen any of his classic series that are and that's not a super unique pipe.
It's not a super unique pipe, but that's Paolo's style. That's his tick box.
His little signature. In the classic series, you can have a billiard or you can have a billiard.
You can have a quarter bit billiard. You can have a half bit billiard.
What flavored billiard do you like? But in the higher end shapes, because there is a pretty big price jump once you get past the classic series. But one of the things that you get with that higher price tag is a more unique shape, more unique rustications, and back to it, bare bowl.
Bare bowl.
You got the air hole right at the bottom. I mean, this is another pipe that they're about in the same price range as a Peterson or a Savinelli. Yep. And truth be told, they're better constructed, in my opinion. And we sell Petersons. The next series that we have is the Sandbiotto, which, Joe, let's do a quick language check. What does Sandbiotto mean in Italian?
I'm going to say that it has something to do with sandblasting.
It means sandblast.
Well, there we go.
Now, as a quick little reminder about different finishes and things like that, sandblast is kind of the next step up from a rustication. They typically rusticate pipes that don't have good grain because in order to have a good sandblast, you have to have good ring grain.
Yeah. You cannot sandblast a bad piece of wood.
No, it'll go into shreds is what it'll do.
Yeah, you will simply have less of a bad pipe.
And his sandblasts, I mean, as I'm looking at them, the ring grain on these are gorgeous. And then again, like I said, with that next step up, you get another quick kind of cool new shape. This is a panel, and it's a hexagonal panel. You don't see that very often. You have the small wooden smoothed, it's not necessarily a wood band. All he did was leave it smooth around here. And that's enough to give it enough contrast that looks really good. Also, the Sandblast, surprisingly, same price as the Rusticos. But they're good little pipes.
Mine also has a panel shape to it. It is also a Dublin. I'll hold it up so y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Mine also has, mine has 4 sides because he left the front and the back rounded. So, if I can give you an idea here, this part here and this part here are rounded, but then he's got the smooth sides to the pipe. So it fits very well in the hand. Again, yellow stem, because apparently I drew the yellow stem lot. And there's...
Oh, there's plenty more. Hold on, I got plenty of yellow stems with... Oh.
And then there's a black ring at the bottom of the stem.
Not only that, but you still have all the mainstays of the brand, right? You got Del Rentinen, you got Bare Bowl, and I can see the... It's funny, so I can't see, because of our lighting situation, I can't see the exact nature of the grain, but through the sides I can see the ridges, and I'm like, oh, that's killer.
Oh, yeah. This pipe looks like you cut a tree open.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just running around there.
Yeah.
It is stunning.
Last up, we have the Elite Series. Now this one is head and shoulders better than the other ones. I mean, there's a price jump. The grain structure is very similar to the classics. I'm not going to lie to you. You're not going to get like tighter grain, more pronounced grain or anything like that. It really speaks to how good the classics are in that, or the Classico series, is because it their grain is just as good as his Elite Series. But with his Elite Series, he shapes the pipes more towards that bowl, kind of like a Danish style would be indicative of.
So that's a really interesting thing that they can do with the Briar. Letting the Briar dictate the pipe shape just seems to be a much more conducive way to going about carving a pipe.
That being said, this I love that he let the grain shape the pipe. We're back to bare bowls. You got the wood band here. I mean, basically the Elite series, all it does, and all of these pipes, all they do is they build from each step to the next one, right? In our first, we had the Classic series, which was, you know, your budget starter pipe, but still very nice, right? Mm-hmm. It's your step above the rest. Then you go into your Rustica series where they introduce more unique shapes, right? And, you know, oh, we put some rustication here, so that way we can make these unique shapes without having to worry about the grain pattern ruining the look of the pipe. Then it goes to sandblast. Now we've got some nice ring grain in this. Let's go ahead and add a sandblast. And then you move to the Elite series, and they're like, all right, it's got the good grain. We're going to do everything that we always do. We got wood band, Delrin bare bowl, but also let's really take a second and focus on what this grain wants to do with this pipe. And so each line just sets building blocks. There's no ambiguity as to why it's more expensive. They just did everything that they could do to make sure each step was one step better than the last. Yeah. And that's why I think that these pipes, regardless of the price range, are a good example of what you should start with.
Yeah, I agree with you. The shaping of the bowls, the drilling, it's all just technically brilliant.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that we're doing this is the importer for Talamona is no longer going to be having Talamonas. Yeah. Unfortunately, that company's downsizing.
Yeah, our importer for these pipes is going away, which has given us the opportunity to discount some of them very heavily. So be sure to go check that out.
Yes, they are. What's left? I mean, so we will be discounting the Rustico line, the Sandbiotto line, and the Elite line. So we want to make sure that everybody can get one of these pipes, because this needs to be a pipe for any, you know, whether you're a beginner or somebody who has a ton of pipes. Don't we always rate stuff?
We love rating things.
I love rating things.
What was our system for rating things? Aesthetics 1 to 5?
Yeah. Aesthetics 1 to 5. And we won't do it line by line, just as a concept of Talamona. Aesthetics go.
4 1/4? 4.25. I like the traditional shapes, but there's enough of a difference there to keep me interested. And grain pattern is wonderful.
I'm not going to go quite that high, but I will say I'll give them a 3.5 on aesthetics, simply because some of the rustic series, I'm not a fan of those rustications. All right, functionality.
Functionality is going to be about a 4, 3.5. It's not going to compete with a handmade. They're very technically sound drilled, but you know it's not going to compete with a Northern Briar.
Yeah, I'm going to say that too. Like, as far as machine mades go, you know, this is top tier.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where it's at. And so then let's see here: aesthetics, functionality. The history, I have to give a 5. I mean, it's a very storied history.
It is. Couple of generations, and then a family friend takes over. Yeah, that's hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, what? Paolo Becker's only got a better story,
right? All right. So overall,
I give these just a solid 3.5.
You know what? I'll do you one better. I'll go 3 3/4.
There you go. I mean, these are just solid pipes.
Yep.
Like I said, they are great for if you're starting. They're great if you want to have a piece of Italian pipe history. You know, they're not going to be the most elite of pipes.
No.
But they are strong, solid pipes.
Agreed.
And that's been our Talamona review.
So we thank you for stopping by, and we hope to see y'all real soon. Be safe out there.